All right, thank you very much, Matt. Now, this morning we are joined with Congressman Ryan Zinke. Mr. Zinke, how are you doing this morning?
I am great. Great to be here. Great to be in Montana.
Absolutely. Now, we were just talking about a lot of issues facing Montanans, and we're going to get into that fairly shortly. But for the time being, I wanted to see where your head's at the moment. You know, Election Day is coming up fairly shortly, and a lot of people may have deja vu. You're going up against Monica Tranel for re-election again.
Yeah, I would say this is the most consequential election in my lifetime. That's not my first rodeo. But the issues before us are important. You know, obviously we don't have a border, and Montana feels it all the time. And this so-called bipartisan, border deal, it wasn't bipartisan at all. It never made it to the Senate. And the bottom line is this, is that we need a border. We need to secure the border. We need to make sure that catch and release is on there. In Montana, we don't have Hamas as we did in Washington, D.C. That was shocking for me to see Hamas in Washington, D.C. rip down our flags in Union Station and burn the flags. But what we do see in Montana is we see the effects of fentanyl, of increased crime in Bozeman, Rock and R. There are Mexican gangs in the alley. In Billings, we have Venezuelans. And look, we need to secure the border. It's that clear. Other issues, affordable housing. There's a lot of issues in Montana, but I can guarantee you, I haven't seen anything that's not fixable. So I remain an optimist.
Definitely. Now let's get into some of those issues. One of the big ones that Montana is kind of unique on, abortion is on the state ballot this year along with a handful of states. Some people think that's the right move, it's moving the decision to the states. Other people think it's a violation of privacy. Where's your head at in terms of your time in Congress and just you personally?
Well, I'm pro-life. But also, I'm no exceptions. Montana law, if you look at it, is 20 weeks. Was signed by the legislature, signed by the governor, with exceptions. And that's kind of where Montana should lie. The idea that you're going to extend that beyond in the third trimester is barbaric. So I think Montana has at about the right tone. It's a difficult decision for young women. I think we also should focus on birth control. I'm a Navy SEAL. I like planning. I like making sure that things are done up front. So let's focus on education. Let's focus on birth control. Let's focus on getting ahead of the problem. And then, when you reduce, the time, you also have to increase the ability for a young woman to have her choice and provide some assistance. We don't talk about that. When a young woman should get pregnant and wants to have the child, then you also have to provide some assistance for her.
And one last thing before I let you go. We were talking about it earlier. The southern border. Let's talk about if you're reelected back into Congress, what would you like to see done in your term?
Well, we need to finish the wall. And look, we need to incentivize legal immigration. We know immigration is a part of America, and it's an important part. But we need to do it legally. But when you incentivize illegal behavior, as what's doing right now, and on the border, this so-called bipartisan immigration bill, this is what it did. This is what Monica said she supports. 1.6 million immigrants coming in before you shut the door. It codifies catch and release. It gives free legal services, free medical services, work visas. It's not a border bill, it's an amnesty bill. So we need to go back to secure the border. You can't have a border and an immigration policy without securing the border. Secondly, you have to have avenues for people to come in legally, make it a little easier. We want a background check. We want to make sure you're not a deficit society, and drug-free. We have right now over 500,000 criminals, of which 15,000 or more have murders, rapes. That's what's coming to the country. Venezuela is emptying out their insane asylums. They're emptying out their prisons. Enough's enough.
Congressman Ryan Zinke, can't thank you enough for being on the show. It's a pleasure.
Great to be with you.
All right, we're going to take a short break here on Montana this morning. When we come back, Matt's going to have a look at that forecast. But before we head off, we want to encourage you that we are taking your questions to ask the candidates. That email that you see right there, election2024@kbck.com. Send us in your questions. We would love to get those answered. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in just a bit.